We are live and in the flesh. Trying a little something new here, y'all. You know who I am. I am Ebo Sosa. Got a YouTube channel and everything. But I'm going to try something different. I want to introduce you guys to somebody. Somebody that I love, respect, honor, and cherish. And those of you who know me, you know I've been wanting to do a couples channel for a long time. And this is going to be the beginning of it. This is going to be the first recording. I'm going to introduce you guys to my lovely wife. I guess you can call her Mrs. Sosa. I don't know. What do you want to be called?
It's all good. I can be Mrs. Sosa. Hello, everybody.
Yes, y'all. That's Mrs. Sosa. And we just kind of freestyling it right now, but wanted to pretty much get everybody familiar with us, so we decided to record the story of how we met, thinking that it may intrigue you and entertain you, because it's quite entertaining. And my wife is way better at telling the story than me, but I'm going to try to be present and chime in and assist with the recollection of how it went down, because it's definitely quite a story. So let's see, what in the world made you marry this dude right here, me?
Okay, that's a good question. I think that in a quick statement, what made me know that I needed to marry you is how you show up. You know, and there were themes through the beginning of our relationship where you showed up. You know, in our story, we'll talk about our New Year's Eve moment, but you know, The thing about you is you mean what you say, you know? And when I had surgery, as you recall, and had a lot of pain that I went through, you were there. And I remember distinctly when I was healing, and I know you've always were very clear about wanting to get married, and I always was really hesitant and cautious, but in that moment, I knew you were definitely my husband. And I needed to follow through with committing to you and becoming your wife. And so it was not at all a difficult decision to make. And I definitely didn't regret it. And I don't regret it to this day.
Indeed, neither do I, you know. Being that this is my second marriage, man, you've seen this a common theme on YouTube where there's a lot of dudes that are anti-marriage, people that are anti-marriage. They focus on the negative things that, you know, the war stories and whatnot that people describe. Hell, even I talk about them sometimes, but I wasn't going to allow that to deter me from wanting to, you know, achieve marriage with somebody. I don't know, maybe I'm a hopeless romantic, but I've always felt life and a family would be better married than not married. It's just something about having that title, you know, when it's well-deserved, in my opinion, when you have the proper mate, you know. I think that's the problem with everybody nowadays, man. They're getting married without really knowing who they're getting involved with, you know?
Mm-hmm. But I think that you were really clear, and both of us, before even coming together, were really clear about, well, for the most part, what we wanted. You know, as you always said, after your first marriage ended, you knew that you wanted to have your friend. As I've always told you, even feebly praying for a husband, not expecting that I would ever meet somebody that I was compatible with to get married, I always prayed for character traits. And all of those things you showed me very quickly. I think always you were committed and you showed up, and it was never, ever a doubt or question that you would. You know, and so I think for me, especially with somebody who dealt with issues of trust, you know, that supported me to begin to open up and trust. And just like you, I think the friendship part was very important to me. And so that's definitely something that we had from day one for our communication and how easy the flow was of conversation that we would have. And so those things were always really important. And I think because we both, you know, embodied those traits, it didn't make it challenging to come together.
Yeah, you're the only female that I've ever really looked forward to talking to on the phone. You know, I mean,
it was easy to talk to each other, you know?
Yeah, it was real easy.
Yeah.
Real easy. That was something very new to me. And I think that's what really was like, you know, the most drawing thing. I was like, man, I can really feel comfortable with speaking my mind to this woman, man. You know, we would have those conversations that last 10 hours, 5 hours, just hours at hand. I don't even remember what the stuff we were talking about was, but
always something interesting.
Yeah,
kept us engaged.
Yep.
And I think you're probably the only person that I know that since we've come together, I've never not talked to you every single day from the first day to today.
Yeah, man. Look forward to talking to my woman every day, man. I feel odd if I don't. You know, I'm trying to think way back in the beginning. When we first saw one another was back in junior high. Mm-hmm. That was my first encounter with meeting Miss Sosa, seeing Mrs. Sosa. It wasn't too pleasant, to be honest with you. I don't want to, well, from what I remember, it went like this. Unless you want to explain. You want to explain it?
You can tell your version and I can tell my version.
Cool. I remember walking home from school and my girlfriend at the time was that actually was my girlfriend. My wife now was walking with. That's weird. Anyway, they were walking way ahead of me and my girlfriend saw me and started to slow up so I can catch up. Anyway, we met up. I remember her saying, did she introduce us?
I don't remember introductions. I just remember, walking home with her, from school. Mm-hmm. And just because of how much more shy I wasn't dating boys and all the girls that I was around were dating guys. I used to always feel irritated when the boy would come and then I would have to walk home by myself. And so I think that was what was going on probably for me is that, here he comes. I remember seeing you. I remember you being quiet. I never really knew you, but we knew the same people. Yeah. And so I don't even know if there was an introduction. I'm certain she did introduce you because, we were cool. And she wouldn't have just ignored me. She would have probably at least acknowledged my presence, Yeah. But I did realize, obviously, once you guys connected, then I'm walking home by myself. Yeah. So I just remember leaving you all and continuing my walk the rest of the way home.
Yep. And that's what I remember, too. I remember meeting up with you guys. And I want to say she introduced us. Or maybe I just looked at you as some. I don't know. But when I looked at you, he was giving me the shittiest look, man. I mean, just the mean mug from hell, man. It was crazy. And like I said to you before, that moment seemed very hazy now when I think about it. But everything else is clear. But when I looked at you, it seems very hazy. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Anyway,
because we never knew it would wrap back around to this.
Yeah, right?
Period.
So you had the nerdy ass glasses and the crazy looking bang that was in the
kind of amazing bangs. They were long and beautiful.
Big old Cynthia G like looking bang hanging down. Yeah, man.
Tidal wave. Remember the early 90s.
Oh, yep.
Ponytail in the back.
Ponytail in the back, yep.
But wearing my black sweater vest.
Yeah, you had the vest, yep. I remember that.
Fresh.
You had some slack looking pants on.
Probably.
Right? Yep. And when you walked away, I turned to my girlfriend and I said, man, who the fuck is this bitch right here? I remember saying those exact words, right? I remember saying, damn, she ain't got no ass. Because I was a mannish young man, and I was really into what people are into now. I was into back then, the big booties and all that stuff like that. I was a booty boy. Well, pause.
Okay. Sounded a little
pause.
Little suspect. My booty didn't meet the standards at that time.
Right.
Now it does.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I like biting on it, nibbling on it. Anyway, so yeah, she walks home and I proceed with my girlfriend. And that's the only time I remember seeing you back in those days.
Yep. And then you disappeared.
Because I moved from California back to Chicago, rather. And, after multiple years, multiple experiences, life, women, marriage, I ended up on the road as a truck driver. Facebook. Facebook was created.
So fast forward to 2009.
Yeah.
I am on Facebook. I joined because I think my supervisor at the time was like, get on Facebook. And I was like, I don't want to be on no social media, but whatever made me feel compelled to get on Facebook, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And when you initially get on Facebook, it pops up a lot of people you may know.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because we went to the same school as kids, a lot of people were going to come up that were common.
Mm-hmm.
And so because your name was so unique, I immediately remembered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because the girlfriend at the time was born in New York and I was born in New York, that's the only reason I was interested in even engaging you. Because I wanted to know if you still talk to her, because she also disappeared. I don't remember her with us in high school. And so at that point is when I sent you a friend request.
Yeah. Yep. Because you were inquiring about.
Mm-hmm.
You inquiring about started to turn into curiosity from me because, well, I don't know why. I don't remember why.
Because of the fact that I was from.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
I think you were interested. Like, do you know this person? Do you know that person?
Yeah.
You know, I think because it was like a good part of your childhood.
Yeah.
And so you started asking me about the people. And obviously, because I stayed in this area, I did know these people. And so it was like a back and forth about that. And then I think eventually you wanted me to call you.
Yep. I did. I wanted to talk to you personally and pick your brain while we met. And that's when we were in school during that first encounter. And we were revolving around the same circles, even though I had a couple, what was it, 1-2 years ahead of you, something like that?
2
years, yeah. We still had the same friends or knew the same people. There was a great deal of nostalgia for me attached to this place. And I've always wanted to come back because I felt most at home here in California. So I just wanted to talk to somebody who can, give me something, because I was really seeking my goals at that time when we were talking. I was out on the road. I was actually in transition to get to California, going to switch my job and whatnot. And here we are chopping it up about what I was seeking, what I was desiring in California. And those conversations, man, I just remember saying to myself, man, this chick is cool as hell. Who is this chick, man? And I didn't know that I had met her at 14. I didn't know that was you at the point in time.
Right. I think it was very hazy for you. Like, I don't even remember, because that was the first thing you said, is like, help me remember who you are.
Yep.
And I was like, people knew me. Like, how you going to talk about help me remember who? You should know who that kind of thing is my attitude. But I recognize, obviously, it was a long time.
Yeah.
And so, in the initial conversations, it was just small talk about everything. I think kind of just getting to know who one another were, because we really did not know each other like that. It's outside of that moment of passing each other by, And so first conversations would be 3 hours. The next day would be texting all day because I was at work and you doing your thing. And then another conversation, maybe 3 hours, very transparent with each other, very authentic. And then we had that infamous 10-hour conversation.
Yeah, that was the one I was on Bishop's panel. And Sheep Stay Sleep was on there, and I was telling the story
literally
about
10 hours.
Yeah, man.
Because you drove to the destination and got there, and we were on the phone the whole time,
man.
I remember sitting in my bed and seeing the sunrise.
Yeah, man. I was quite the octopus. I had the gear shift in one hand, the steering wheel in one hand, the phone. I had to steer with my elbow because I was holding the phone with my right hand while rolling. And then when I needed to shift, I had to switch hands and put my left elbow on the steering wheel, hold the shifter, shift into the gear and clutch and all that stuff like that. So it was quite a task, but it was well worth it.
You eventually got an earpiece, though.
Got an earpiece, yep.
And we would do that again and again and again.
Yep,
long conversations. And then you had let me know at the time you were kind of, your home base was Georgia. And then I happened to be going to Georgia because my best girlfriend was getting married. So it was just very crazy how that was going on at the time that we're connecting.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe just even a few weeks after we started our first conversation, I'm going to Georgia. And so you were like, I will see you while you're in Georgia. Because at that point we knew, all right, I'm feeling you, you're feeling me. And we were trying to be definitely more serious and connected.
I was trolling the hell out of you on Facebook too, man. I was scrolling through your photos, zooming in.
Let me see. See her features. See what she got going on.
Looking at the lips and like,
wife.
Damn. I was like, yo, this chick kind of cute though. And she chocolatey too. So, yeah, man. I was a serious troll. But yeah, you said you was coming to Georgia. And I said, yeah, I'm going to see you. It was going to be New Year's too.
Because, she got married on the 30th. They had a party on New Year's Eve, and then her husband's birthday was on New Year's Day. Mm-hmm. And so it was like just a celebratory kind of weekend, if you will. Yeah. And so you were going to be, you were working, obviously, and you happened to be in Maine.
Yep, in Maine. Way up there in the top right corner, y'all, of the United States.
How many miles? Over 1,000?
Oh, man, I don't remember something. We got a phone here. We got several phones here. Let's look up the distance between Maine and Stone Mountain, Georgia is. You might have to type a city in, so I'll say Kingsfield, Maine. Maybe that's a city. I can't remember. But I almost, for some reason, that's popping in my head as to being where I was that time. Kingsfield, Maine to Stone Mountain, Georgia.
It's about 1,300 miles. I just put the state of Maine.
Yeah.
It's about 1,300 miles away.
Okay, 1,300 miles. Now
19-hour drive.
19 hours, y'all. 19 hours. I want you to really encompass this. 19 hours. Now, we are only allowed to drive 11 hours by law. We have to take a break after that. 19 hours. I wasn't going to miss out on meeting this woman, y'all. I drove 19 hours. I didn't stop. The calculations was putting me down there after New Year's, if I was going to do it the legal way.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you had to go through. I just made it.
yeah, man. Yes. So I drove from Maine to where I was living in Georgia at the time was Royston, Georgia. When I tell this story, a lot of times I skip a lot of the small details because it wasn't just the drive to Maine that happened. When I got to Georgia, I had lost my wallet.
Right.
I had a headlight out on my truck. And for those who don't know about trucking, when you have issues like that, when the cops pull you over, those are expensive tickets. I'm talking $2,000 for a headlight, stuff like, it depends on the police because if they find one thing, they're going to try to find more stuff. There was just a lot of obstacles placed in front of me.
But you were determined.
Yeah, I wasn't going to miss out on this. If I couldn't find my wallet, I was just going to drive to Stone Mountain without it, damn it. So, and deal with the consequences if I got caught. But it seemed like it was destiny because I did find my wallet. I don't remember what I did about the headlight, but...
I don't either. I just know you pulled on up in that truck.
Yep.
Right on up to the base of the house.
Yep.
And about 7 minutes before midnight, suited and booted,
residential
walked on up to that driveway.
Yep.
And we had our first kiss.
Yep. I told Sheep that she was waiting in the street, but you were.
I was in the driveway.
Right there
at the driveway.
You were right there in the driveway, long driveway. I rode to the residential area, parked the truck on the street, and walked up to you, man. It's like time stopped. I remember that kiss. I remember the moon. I remember the stars. I remember how it felt.
Yeah.
And walked out, right?
Yeah, well, they immediately were like, okay, who is this dude?
Yeah.
And immediately welcomed you in, which is a big deal with my friendship circle. Because they're like, okay, she would not just have anybody coming here. Everyone immediately embraced you. You felt comfortable. I love that you were able to fan out and just be with the dudes and have fun and just you and I would connect and steal some kisses through the night.
Yeah.
And it just...
That was fly.
Yeah.
We were doing our thing being social butterflies and we'd pass by every now and then and smooch. And keep it rolling.
In the hallway, boom, you go in your direction, I'm going my direction. But it just felt natural.
Yes.
In a word.
Yes. The party was so welcoming. The people were so welcoming. The food was wonderful. Y'all, I got slizzard that night. I got drunk. All I remember is just feeling very comfortable, being very drunk. And for some reason, I got to really talking to this brother while I was drunk. And he was like the most attentive audience that I could have because he sat there and listened to me talk about this woman and all that I was releasing to him. He absorbed it all and was like, damn, what the hell's going on with this cat, man? What you do? You know? So,
and they did come out and say, what did you do to this man?
Yeah.
Because you are the topic of conversation.
Yeah.
And, you know, my bestie was like, all right, okay, I like this guy, you know, and everyone was just, it was so, the energy around it definitely made it comfortable. And the matter of fact, this is how you know everybody was comfortable, because you stayed.
I stayed
until I left, which was not until January 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah. You stayed
That's right.
several days.
Several days.
My people didn't know you like that.
Yeah, first time meeting me. Yeah, that's right.
And you just hung out with us.
Yep.
And remember, her family's there, everything. This was a big time for them. So it was just awesome just to have that time.
Man, I remember that night when we slept. I don't know if it was the first night or second night, I don't know. But you and I slept in the bed. We didn't have sex, y'all. We didn't have sex. We didn't have sex until months later. Yeah. That had to be a tantric experience. Because the way our bodies intertwined and locked in, we just didn't wrap around each other. We literally locked in to each other. You know what I'm saying? We've had situations where we've done that again, like during our wedding, during our hug. Yeah. That time. And there's been other times where we've locked in. And we kind of do that every single day some kind of way. You know, we do it through affection or through a holding of hands, or, you know, we lock in. Yeah. And I think that is one thing that is very important for people to understand. If you're choosing a mate, pay close attention to those details. How are you physically together? Yeah. Not just sexually. I mean, how are your kisses? What's the energy like between the two of you? Anyway. Well, after that January, obviously, you got to be on the road. I'm coming back to California. And I think that that's when it started to really feel challenging, because now we done physically seen each other. Yeah. And, you know, we were like, when is it going to be able to happen again? And I think I came back to Georgia in that March, maybe had some time off or came for work or something. I can't remember. And then you came and saw me again, because you were able to create some space and time to spend that time with me. And then, gosh, I think it was like another few months, because you then came to California. Yeah, I came to California. Like that summer, I think. Is that when we did Vegas? May have been. I'm not sure. I think during that time you were able to have a little bit of time off, because I know at that point that's when we're starting to talk about, okay, what are we going to be doing next? Yeah. We're talking about next moves, because we're obviously feeling each other. Yeah. We obviously know that we want to be with each other consistently. And so the plan was for me to get my job based out of California. Yep. And your job had a location. It had a location here, and not too far from where I wanted to live, where you live. And so I went out here and I introduced myself to the terminal manager, who was this white boy fresh out of Malibu. He was one of those types of dudes that was extremely entitled, that no one liked. Everyone had a bad story about him, because his managerial skills were like commanding, you know, like the guy we just saw on the, we were watching Undercover Boss. Yeah. Anyway, so I walks up in the joint, and I was the type of driver, y'all, that I stayed fresh, clean. My avatar, sometimes you'll see me with a black brim, black glasses, and a sharp shirt on. Damn, tongue twisted like a mug. But anyway, but that's how I used to drive out here. And police used to pull me over all the time, thinking that something was wrong, because they never seen a driver dressed like me. Anyway, I rolled up in there, I talked to this dude, and he was immediately impressed. He said, "Yeah." I said, "You got a position out here in California that you need any extra drivers?" He was like, "Absolutely. You know, yeah, we'll make room for you." I said, "Okay, cool. Because right now I'm out of Georgia." I gave him a designated time and day where I would be available out here, drove my black ass back to Georgia, and started making them plans, y'all. Getting the car fixed, because that was a concern. Yes, that was a big concern. Yeah, and definitely was a wing and a prayer, because remember, the odometer wasn't working. And so, you know, it was tires. With the front tire or something like that. Yeah. And so fuel gauge wasn't working. That's what it was. Yeah. So I think that it was just kind of like having that conversation about, you know, and I know there was a little bit of fear, but you ended up saying, okay, I'm going to do it, you know, and you did that drive alone and just kept on moving. And I remember I had a wedding
to go to.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And again, when I say that he just shows up and he says what he's going to do and he does it, I was like, I would love for you to go with me to this wedding. I'll hook you up. I'll find some, a fit for you. And literally, like, I think the day before the wedding, at like 8 o'clock in the morning, he was at my front door.
Yeah, yep. And side note, don't be against receiving gifts from your woman. I didn't have no suit. I'm not a suit tie type of dude. I had what I had. And the mark of a good woman who knows a good man is she will be willing to help him because he is in turn going to do the same thing. And that's what she did for me, man. When I got out here, I didn't have the proper wear. She said, okay, I'm going to hook you up with a little something, man. Boom. Hooked the brother up. We rolled out to the wedding. Again, another wonderful experience.
Yeah.
And basically, all this sealed the deal, man. I mean, that drive out here was a trip. So many things are going through my head, and I'm sure it was going through your head, too,
I'd never lived with anyone before, aside from my immediate family.
Yeah.
So for this to be something that we were doing, it was a big leap for me. To say, I'm going to have this guy come. I felt, obviously, we were cool, and I felt connected to you, and I had trust and love for you, but it still was a big shift for me because I've never done that before.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot riding on it for both of us.
Yep. So I ended up driving 2.5 days out here, and yes, I moved in with my woman. A lot of brothers say, oh, that's a no-no, never move in with a female. No, man, look, let me tell you something. I didn't give a damn about that. I knew what I was getting ready to do with this woman. I knew that I was coming out here to start a new life because I was ready for it. I found a woman that I considered my friend and my lover, and I loved her I respected her like a friend, and I loved her like a lover.
Yeah.
And I was willing to do whatever it took to ensure that my life had this type of existence with this type of person in it. Okay. Weird. My wife has a bottle of ice water. It's ice on the desk over here. And when I said that, it's like a reassurance happened. The ice melted or something like that. Anyway, yeah, man. That's crazy.
Amen.
Okay, yeah. Right. Yes. So came on out here, man, and started our thing up. Now, we went through a little rough patch, though, because I wasn't totally sharp in my mind, and I knew I wanted this, but when you find a mate, you really got to check yourself. And I had a lot of bad habits. I didn't really understand how to tailor myself when it came to complimenting women, things of that nature, because I had a lot of women in my past, a lot of women that I still was communicating with and stuff like that. And when we met, as a matter of fact, I had a little woman I was dealing with.
Right.
And
naming people.
I don't give a damn. Shit. Yeah, I'm doxing, whatever. Who cares? It's my life,
It's all good. Hey, your choice, man. Your choice.
Yep.
Yeah, but those things occurred. I think that stuff was stitched up before you came.
Yeah.
So to be
did.
specific in terms of her and that experience with her, I think I respected how you handled that, because for me, I was very clear about I'm not going to be the other or share or have any kind of person that has some competing interest. That just wasn't my thing. And I think that you were invested enough to say, no problem. And I remember literally we're on the phone having that conversation when you were very clear to me that you were interested. And I let you know very clearly, I'm not going to be one of a group. And so you told me, hold on, and hung up that phone and gave her a call and let her know.
I did.
I do remember that, fast forward, that while we were already together, living together, that she did try to call you. And again, you said that very straight and clear.
Yes.
Like, why are you calling? And it's a wrap. And so whatever happened to her, God bless her. But yeah, I think that was something you were very clear about. And in terms of the other women, it was normal. It was Facebook, right?
Yeah, Facebook, man.
The DM, the inboxing in Facebook and being, trying to shoot shots and stuff, I think that you learned from our communication that, hey, there are women, what was our thing? I said women will try to get in as the janitor to become the CEO.
CEO, yeah, that's dope.
I said also women who, see a good man, they're like that dog under that grill waiting for that good old piece of meat to drop. And so you have to be very clear, and he's a very kind guy. And so people get that twisted. Yeah. They think they can friend and connect and get close to, and then go ahead and again shoot that shot. Yeah. And I wasn't going to be cool with that.
Nah. And I'm glad that I was really able to hear what you were saying to me at these times, because this was said a lot of times in my life when dealing with females. I used to hear this a lot. You're too nice. And because I would deal with females and I would get dogged more than I was being the dog. And I would hear that from a lot of females, like, man, you're too nice. That really kind of hammered it in for me when we would have our discussions about that. I said, well, damn, I need to go ahead and make myself a little bit more callous and be more mindful of the admiration that I showed to.
Well, that wasn't my intention. It was just about boundaries, really. It's like, I think that because you didn't set a boundary with them, it's not really, I don't think that you necessarily were callous or that that's what you changed to. I think you were just setting appropriate boundaries.
Exactly.
Remember, you had one chick who was like, I knew you before, and I'll be here after. Like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a chick. Yeah. That was well, I'm gonna stop saying names.
Exactly.
I'm gonna stop saying names. Stop saying names. Yeah, there was a chick who said that. She said, well, I was here before her, I'm gonna be here after her. Can you dig that? I mean, wow, the boldness, y'all.
Super
the boldness,
Super bold.
But yeah, you're right, man. Setting proper boundaries was something that I definitely had to learn, because that was something that just wasn't ever instilled in me from childhood. I never knew how to really set boundaries. I was a very happy-go-lucky child. I stayed looking at the sun, if you will, tripping over obstacles, but steadily looking at the sun until my eyes burned, not really being aware of the things that were in front of me below my sight. So, yeah, what else? We link up, we out here, and I had to get off the road. I had to stop this truck driving because I kept falling. I started to get real bad sleep apnea, and on top of that.
But wait a minute now, that's not how it ended.
No, that's not how it ended. I'm not going to just, that's not how it ended. Yeah. How it ended was me having that accident.
No, remember you had that one load, and remember like they had you in Arizona with some hay.
Yeah.
And this is probably, I would say, the moment of my own stuff that shows up in terms of feeling nervous about anybody taking advantage. Because remember, after that load, that was your last straw.
Yeah.
And you quit.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, well, I got to take care of you. Like that was one of those kind of moments of reckoning in this relationship where that felt a little uncomfortable. One thing though about you is that you will immediately find some way to bring in an income for your family.
No doubt. I'm getting
I learned that about you in that experience. But of course, when you're first with somebody, you don't know that that's how they'll get down, right? At the end of the day, that was, for me, that wasn't an expectation that I would just be the only person employed in our household.
Absolutely
and
not.
So, that was scary for me, in the moment that it happened. But I also, in hindsight, understand, it was just you had reached a limit with that job, and it wasn't good for you, for your spirit. It wasn't good for you, period. It just wasn't a great company. Yeah. And so then the journey began, like you said, where you were off the road.
Yeah. So I got off the road, got up in here. Now, the only other experience in life I've ever had was rent-a-center and warehouse work. Hard manual labor. So that's pretty much what I started to fall back into, was looking in those directions. And really, brothers, if you go through something like this, or if you ever go through something like this, it's important for you to understand that reassurance is key, number one. And the best reassurance to give a woman that's got your back is action.
Absolutely.
I treated job hunting as if it was a full-time job. Resumes, I had her proofread because she's so efficient with that kind of thing.
And that was frustrating initially with your career path before.
Yeah.
You started having more time at places. I remember helping you draft that. So the growth I've seen over the years too with that,
Yep. Had to consolidate a bunch of stuff, stitch a few things up because, my resume was about 3-4 pages
very
long.
Frustrating. Short spurts.
Yeah, short spurts here and there.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time in the South. People move to the South because it's cheaper and things of that nature, but I'm not the type of person that does well over in those environments because of the mentality over there. Not to say that I didn't have good times, but I just really wasn't able to survive in the South too well. I mean, I did come up, got married, got a house and all that stuff like that, but it just never was where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in California. I felt home here. And so anyway, treating jobs like a full-time job. I'm hunting. Ended up landing some gigs here and there, through temp agencies, because that's what you want to first do when you're going through situations of trying to find some employment. Register at every damn temp agency in your vicinity. All of them. Do that first. And then once you get a little bread in your pocket or simultaneously looking for other jobs, you know what I'm saying? You want to look for the golden egg, and I found Target Distribution, and that helped out because, my work ethic is stellar. I'm going to definitely brag about that. I grind, y'all. I'm greedy when it comes to that. I'm set high when it comes to work ethic. That is a big standard in my life. So I get at Target, and I sit up in that gig and making some decent money. Had a schedule that was a 3 on, 4 off. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of free time, but definitely worked hard. Worked that gig for several years, and during that time, me and Miss Sosa got married. Mm-hmm. Decided we wanted a kid, and really was shooting for a son. Really was shooting for a son hard, man, because as you guys know from my videos, I tell you I got 3 daughters from, I'm going to be vulnerable now. I got 3 daughters from 3 different women. Yeah, call me whatever you want to call me, but look, I try to make it work with these women, seriously.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that it didn't, but my daughters and I, my oldest daughter, we have a wonderful relationship. My middle, not so much, but we cool. And of course, my youngest is here. That's a Vegas chip right there. She's wonderful. Anyway.
She was created in a different experience,
Yes, she was.
And all of them are special and amazing. But I think there's something to be said about being able to cultivate a relationship and do it with intention. And I think that even our conversations before she was even conceived, up to the conception and to now, we've been really intentional about what we want for her life.
Yeah.
And that we want her to basically embody even more than the best of us both, And I see that definitely being developed in her, and I'm grateful. Because just to let y'all know, I never wanted to have, or never thought I wanted to have children, let me be clear. And the purpose and the reason that I am now a mother is because when I got with Mr. Sosa, I knew I wanted to have a child with him. And so for me, the full intention of love before even, being able to carry this beautiful human that we share in my womb, I think says volumes about who she is. It just shines through. Mm-hmm. And I'm really grateful that I've had, and hindsight, right? Just when you think your life will be one way and then it's totally different. I'm really grateful that I was able to be in a position where I can find somebody that, I connect to, that is my friend, that is my lover, that is a great confidant. He is a wonderful, wise, beautiful human and loves me without conditions.
None.
And to be able to create a human being with that type of person is pretty special. Mm. And, I'm excited for her life. That definitely was a really, really beautifully blessed experience, that I'm grateful that I got to do, is bring a child into the world with somebody that I love.
You know what? That reminds me of what my mother said about my father. You said the same thing.
She was intentional about who she selected for you.
Is there like a specific moment that causes a catalyst for you to?
No, I just think that I was just at the stage of my life where it just it was a feeling I had. Mm-hmm. I can't even explain it because years before, like I said, I did not have that feeling.
Yeah.
I did not have that expectation. And so, but just like one day it comes and one day it isn't, and one day, then another day it is. It's just a feeling. And I had a very intense feeling that this made sense for me. And I just responded to that,
Man. Yeah, man, that's amazing. I can relate to it because I know I had that same feeling. I mean, I already had two, and I'm like, man, do I really want another one?
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I had to. I had to have a seed with you. We had to have something representing the two of us combined. It was absolutely paramount that we do that. And I'm glad we did.
Me too.
Because we got, y'all, this child here, man.
She's dynamic. She's dynamic.
Yes.
You're biased, but she's a special human being. And I'm just grateful to be her mommy.
Man, but let's see, what else can we say about us that
Well, okay, so got married. Do they know you got married on your birthday?
No, they don't. Yes, I got married on my birthday.
Mm-hmm. He said that I when I told him I was finally ready, I asked him, I was like, when do you want to get married? And he's the one who chose the date. Maybe so it was easy for him to remember his anniversary. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I'll still forget.
But it's pretty special to have that be the day. And even just, I don't know, I guess so we have the kid, and then I don't know, where would you want to go next in the journey?
Well, as far as our journey, what we're going to do next is get this house stitched up to where we already got one major thing out of the way.
Yeah. So we could talk about that if you feel like you want to, about the journey. Okay. It has its own obstacles in that
does.
too.
Yeah.
But we've gone through our ups and our downs, and to do that with a partner is definitely better than doing it alone. I'll say that.
Yes.
And we definitely have experienced job loss and income change and stress. And through it all, we have persevered. We are able to celebrate big and small things just alike together, which is so great. We talk about from our $100 Xbox to this house that we purchased together, to this huge purchase that we just made to get our house's hair did, if you will.
Yeah.
Her dome.
Yep.
I do call our house a her. Yes, indeed. Because she nurtures us and encompasses us and keeps us protected and safe.
Well, this is my home, but this is your nest. You know what I'm saying? So I go ahead and I let you have that.
It's not at all on any kind of, trying to shake one gender versus the other. That's just what I affectionately call the space.
Yeah.
But, it's to do life with somebody that you dig is pretty special.
It really is. It really is.
I am always grateful. I think that the good in this dynamic far outweighs anything that's bad, anything that's negative. I think we've never had any kind of disagreement that we can't resolve.
Absolutely.
And I don't know an experience with my husband where I can sit or coexist with him where we're sitting in resentment. I am grateful for that, because I think that is a miserable experience to have.
It really is, man. I couldn't allow that to happen either, man. I might be stubborn and sit for a little while, but then I'll be like, oh, man,
same here. But one person or the other gets to a point where we no longer can comfortably stand that. And I really admire for us our mutual growth, and that we can come together humbly and say, you know what, we got to get this straight. I'm gonna own my part.
Yep.
Help me understand where you were frustrated and what area didn't serve you, and how can I improve that going forward. And I think that as stubborn as both of us can get, and that's a really beautiful thing that we both have the capacity to do. And I am always grateful for that. And I think that is rooted in the friendship. If we were just romantically connected and there was not a friendship connected to this, then I don't think we can comfortably do that. I think we both genuinely respect each other and really like each other, not only love each other, but really like each other.
Right.
And it's better for us to be in harmony than to be at any kind of odds or disagreement, And so our goal is always to get back to that, whenever there is any kind of disconnect or any kind of rubbing the wrong way or whatever is going on. And I can't say enough. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret right now. Before we started this recording, when I approached you about just turning on the mic and just going, I had a whole setup already in my mind that when we end this, I'll probably do another brief recording so I can achieve what I'm getting ready to say. I wanted to start off with a whole greetings and show format. And before we begin, I wanted to say something like, before we begin, baby, we got to start this off right. And the only way to start this off properly is with them lips. So you got to give me a kiss, you know, so we can set it all right, you know. Right. So I'll still do that, but right now, I request some lips too.
Well, let's go. I love you.
I love you too. All right, so you want to end it here?
Sure.
All right, y'all. Well, we don't know what we're going to call this channel or how we're going to do this, but we just wanted to get it locked in so we can introduce ourselves. You know, I really wanted to bring you guys a little bit of content with my wife because, look, man, I'm going to tell you like this, brothers, when you find that right woman, man, you'll wonder about if you're losing your mind. I guarantee you it's not you losing your mind. You found your mind, okay? You have found what it is that you're supposed to have. And I'm grateful that I found my blessing within a wife. If you can't look at your woman and evaluate if she's that kind of blessing to you, then I think you might want to reconsider what you're doing. You got to be friends first. Yeah. You have to be. Do not listen to this rhetoric about men and women can't be friends or something like that. Look, man, the only way you're going to have longevity is if you are friends. Because as I said in my other video before, that sex stuff starts to get old. I mean, well, it ain't old.
It doesn't get old, but
it starts to slow down.
You don't want to lean on that alone.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have some substance involved in the connection.
Yeah.
And so I like the dude. You know what I mean? I like whatever he has to offer sexually too. But I like him as a character, as a human being. He's a great man, and I couldn't be able to be committed to anybody that wasn't. And so I consider him a great blessing to me as well, because we lift each other up and encourage each other. And, you know, the synergy that comes, right? When you get with somebody, I know we said he's going to hit, right? But when you get with somebody, you know, you're coming from two different experiences. Mm-hmm. And so I think that we mutually enhance each other. You know, there's strengths that I have that maybe that he needs some sharpening on and vice versa.
That's right.
Where he has some strengths that I need some sharpening on, and he has been an immense blessing to me in those areas. And I am better and greater today than I was before he was in my life. And I know that that is directly connected to our bond and our relationship and in what we bring to the table as a unit.
We can do good all by ourselves. We're forced when we together.
I love somebody.
What up, anyway?
Yes, indeed. That's the truth. That's real. So.
Yeah, you do make me better though, baby. For
make
real.
me better too.
Yeah.
And I humbly can say that, and I appreciate that.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna end it on that. That's fly.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with it.
All right, y'all. Peace out on the Sosas.
All right, peace.